What is up, guys? Welcome back to the Huddle, your weekly playbook helping you gain forward progress in your flooring career. Simply put, we're here every Tuesday to help you win. For all our new viewers, welcome to the team. What's up, fellas?
How's it going, sir?
Going on, G-Unit?
Going well. I trust everybody had a great Thanksgiving.
We did. Not a turkey was in sight. We did chickens this year. I think everyone in our family is just over turkey.
Really? We never eat it. So like that's the we take advantage that one time, and I'm turkeyed out. I mean, turkey and ham both. But that, and my wife makes this stuff called pistachio. Well, she calls it pistachio salad. I think it's just a pudding of like
I know.
Jello and marshmallows and
Yep. And the
I
coconut.
know what that
Coconut
is.
too, right?
pineapple
Yep.
Oh,
and maraschino cherries. All this stuff, dude. I tell you what, my daughter can attest. I get it twice a year, and there's a reason that
Because you
I
won't stop.
I my goodness, dude, I dominate it. I'm like, give me some more of that salad. It makes me feel good too because we call it salad and it's not salad.
Right. What's up, Jimothy?
What up, Jimmy? Well, welcome, guys. You know the the I know that we are kind of talking about coming into the new year. I wanted to mention, where everybody's always about that Thanksgiving time. Everybody is starting to think about their New Year's resolutions, possibly. Make your New Year's resolution this year of increasing your personal standards and how you carry yourself in the flooring industry. Let's make a big dent in flooring in 2026. I know we're a month away, but I wanted to mention this is about when people start thinking like, oh, I'm going to go on a diet. I'm going to go do this, that, and the other. Dedicate to yourself, get trained, be professional, and get involved. Today's topic is kind of in that same vein: the future of labor in the flooring industry. Where are we going? Like, what's gonna, the guys and I are gonna chat a little bit about what we see happening, some studies that have been done, different things that are going on, and where we see the future of our industry from a labor perspective. So, as always, you got the Michigan crew in Wichita here to help support chat. So get in that chat, say hi, give us some questions, and challenge us anytime you feel you can on our perspectives. So, with that being said, um, it's been a busy, busy day. It's cold here,
yeah.
and I got my hat on. I can't take it off, even though it's warmed up a little bit today, because my hair. I was just telling the fellows before we launched the podcast, my hair is like a nightmare just in a good day, and then you stick this hat on first thing in the morning out of the shower, and you got a real gnarly mess. Anyway, the future of flooring labor. Um, when do robots take over, guys? When are they going to start doing our jobs?
I mean, we have an auto welder,
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, we've already been there, done that, bro.
We do have an auto welder, and it works really well.
but as far as everything else, man, we're in it for the long haul, I think.
Yeah, I think installers doing what we do, we might be able to get assistance from robotics, but as far as taking it over, the hands-on portion and what we do every day, I don't think that that's going to be very easily taken over by robots.
So there's been, quite a bit of uh, research. I wouldn't say studies, but research done on the effect of AI and robotics on different industries. Uh, so the trades, it's been proposed. It's going to be more assistance. So what they mean by that is like back in the day before there were two wheel dollies, you carried stuff by hand. Well, the dolly is an assistant to you doing your job. There's no in the foreseeable future, and they're only looking out 5 to 10 years, depending on which research. Uh, the they're not going to come and glue our floor and install. You know what I mean? They're not going to uh, uh, grout our floors or do this stuff. Um, the the assistance part though is possible, I guess. Think of the welder that Daniel just mentioned, or think of uh, you know improved material handling, that kind of stuff. That's where they see it going for the foreseeable future. I'm sure that someday that might change, but at the end of the day, that's kind of what the research is showing at the moment. I think where the flooring industry labor is moving is we are winning a little bit. Like there's these hints of winning on training new guys, and there's also um, there's also a revitalized affinity for the trades, partially because a lot of people are losing their jobs to AI on data entry kind of level stuff. So I think we're pretty safe, and we got to learn new ways of using our body along with robotics. There are some assistants. Again, they're strap exoskeleton
Yeah,
assistants. Have you seen these? Have you seen them, Daniel?
Yeah,
I have. I've
Like
seen quite a bit
it,
of it.
like
I
guys are curling 100-pound dumbbells
well, I think
because
the one that I seen it was like a drywaller was like hanging sheets of
Yeah,
rock by themselves, right? Like,
yeah, I
I
think
mean,
that's going to be there's going to be some cool tools and cool ways to reduce the impact on our bodies.
yes.
One of the things is the exoskeleton, as they call them, like leg, almost knee pads. They're like pro knees, but they're powered to help you get up and down and not use those ligaments that we use so much in flooring to get up and down off of the floor. So
A lot of those are
that
like
kind
in
of
the
stuff to
preliminary
me,
stages.
yeah, the lower body stuff is starting to come alive. Uh,
Yep.
and that's because we've done so much in prosthetics and like leg braces and things of that nature for fixing different afflictions from birth. And so they have a lot of other data to draw from. So the exoskeleton stuff is actually pretty cool. Jimmy asks, what would you consider the most influential or the most impact influence on the trades, bringing in younger generation? Does that make sense?
so yeah, I think that was like an example, right? Is it bringing in the younger generation, or is there something else that's the most impactful influence? I don't know if it's that younger generation though.
I think this is I would propose
That's a,
to
that's
you
a good
guys,
question.
uh, is it's more of a three-pronged approach. You got to have new blood coming in.
Hmm.
We got to have knowledge transfer. Um, but we have a pretty big, um, I think this is true with all the skilled trades. We have a pretty big uh, population of undertrained, underqualified guys. If if all of the network of installers, the entire like body of installers were um, at that expert level or something, we could really identify how short our labor really is. But Daniel, you mentioned this before. What you're saying here?
Yeah, it's not a labor shortage, it's a qualified labor shortage.
Yeah,
And that's what it does, it right? And all these older guys are aging out right now. And then do we need to bring new people in? Yes, but when you're bringing them into something that isn't set up for them, how long are they going to stay?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, so there has to be one of the solutions out there on the marketplace, and everyone knows that. Well, I think maybe not everyone, but most people understand now that we are our new platform is called TradeTap. But the real support of all that, TradeTap is just a marketplace. Choose to work on the marketplace after the new year or not. That's not the case. But what powers it is the verified trade index. That is our way of, as an industry, that we can aggregate and figure out where we're at so we know where we need to improve. Yeah, baby. When you join the verified trade index, then you have uh, you know where your shortfalls are and what to do about them. It puts us in a personal responsibility zone where you can't just hide from the facts, right? You're either highly qualified or you're not, and not being high qualified is not should not be a knock on you. But if you don't choose to do something about it and all the tools are put there for you to do, then it's a different story. I would
Right.
say by next year, though, next year it will start where if you're untrained or you're not being trained, it is not going to be the industry's fault anymore. Literally, the ecosystem is being built out for you to join the index, have a training hub right there attached to your profile where you can look at every training that's available from every entity that is part of that and be able to go and get the training you need. A lot of it's free. As you guys know, a lot of manufacturers do some, they'll even pay for your hotel and your food and stuff to go to one of their trainings. I mean, any manufacturer's training I've been to, and I've been to several, they put us up in a hotel, they fed us. We even had a night out at one of them. Uh,
All you got to do is get there
all you got to do is get there.
and take the
Take a,
time.
take a,
And that's the thing. I think it's a misconception too that you have to be certified and everything to know what you're doing, and that's where the verified trade index comes in too, right? Because there for a long time I wasn't certified in anything, and then once I did get certified, they were like, oh yeah, I didn't you know a lot, so we need you in this organization. And it's like, um all right, I guess you can know a lot without getting certified, right? But I still learned a lot going through certifications, and it's that just that one thing that you pick up, and then it changes everything that you do because you don't go back. You once you learn that you're doing something wrong and you keep on doing it wrong, that's not cool. Like you got to learn and move on from there and start being like, all right, I'm gonna be better.
yeah,
So
certifications are great, but to pass an actual certification, certifications are a measurement of your skill. You either pass or you don't pass on a certification course, typically. True certifications.
so
That's a judgment of where you're at.
did I go back?
But doing the trainings and being going to workshops, I mean, most of these opportunities are out there. You guys just don't know about them. We're going to put them at your fingertips
Right.
where
And
you
it's
can.
continued education. It's a spec changes, you need to know about it. You don't know unless you're reading everything. And then I mean, even sometimes technology lacks a little bit, right? Because the people that are writing it and the people that are putting it on websites are totally different teams. So the things don't get updated as fast as they roll out.
Oh, and you
Yeah.
need failures. You need failures in order to update specs and to change specs. Not only when you're missing ingredients, you change something, but if there's a failure and you find out why, specs change because of that too. I want to go back to Jimmy's question about getting bringing in the younger generation. I just want to touch on that. And Daniel had said it earlier a little bit too. Is the younger generation really looking at the hands-on portion of trades as lucrative, or are they looking at it as my my dad, my grandfather, my uncle's body got beat up? I don't want to do that. I'd rather design. I'd rather be an architect. I'd rather be a supervisor instead of learning the hands-on. So, as a flooring industry, or or in the flooring industry, I know we're not doing the best to create a good structure for to attract the younger generation. We're trying. People are trying.
It feels
Uh,
like we're making a little bit
yep.
of a headway. There's a lot of organizations out there that are starting to make some good headway. The government, so this is a piece of information. The government is getting much looser with their purse strings because they realize there's two things. You have less people because the immigration thing we talked about last week with Scott, right? So you have less people. The fact is you have less jobs. I've said this a couple of times, but the jobs report on the last quarter, like it was the first time that our GDP went up and our jobs went down. Like we were producing more as a country, but less jobs to support it, and significantly so. And it's the first time that that dynamic was there in that, especially to that magnitude. So the jobs that were out there, Jose, that when a kid is looking at like where can I get a lucrative trade, and I don't prescribe to the thought that these kids are lazy or they don't want to work. I think that the opportunities are misrepresented. Like it's not they were sold a story of going and getting a sociology degree and that they could get a career afterwards, or a art degree or a this or a that. If art's your passion, go do it. But my point is that a lot of people went into these college programs, getting 4-year degrees, doing stuff that they ended up not getting a job for, or that
Mm-hmm.
they were not able to make a meaningful living off of. The trades are by far the best way for you to uh, uh, you know earn a livable income, and then have your hobby or your stuff on the side. Like it's okay to do those other things too, but we started taking hobbies and turning them into careers, or saying they're careers. And I don't think that the younger generation is just lazy. I think they got sold a book of goods kind of, but the trades are coming back. Like the government's starting to spend more money on them, uh, on supporting the training. There's a lot of information out there that we've learned about how they are doing that. There's some courses that are going to be free in the future, and you can take a pretty good sized course to um, launch your career. And then having a career path, that's what the VTI also supports, is having a career path to accelerate your career, get better, show your value, and then win more work. um, you know my dream is that the qualified guys are always winning the work, and the unqualified guys have to go get qualified.
Right. Jorge says that he loves getting his ass bleeped. I guess I already I said ass. I
Yeah, you
bleeped the
did.
wrong
Yeah.
Bleep
word.
kick.
His ass kicked every day in flooring makes his body feel good. This trade is all body and mind. If you don't like the pain, this isn't for you. And I mean, I can kind of understand that to a certain extent. And then sometimes my body just feels like overdone.
Like
Yeah, I
this,
think there's
your
a
body
bit,
does that.
maybe a little bit of satire in that, but at the same time, I do like prescribe move your body correctly when you're working, and it's a workout. That's all it
I know,
is, a
I know what
workout.
he's talking about. He's talking about the sacrifice, the body for the project, right? You're sore. You're like, I don't ever want to do that again, but you're done. You step back, you look at what you
You,
did, and you're like,
it's
it
that
was worth it.
gratification. Yeah.
Right. It was worth it.
And
I
that's
get that.
where I tell people about that instant gratification. You look at it and it's like, yes.
You,
That is my favorite part of being a flooring
Paul,
installer.
you had just said something about the colleges and all these extra classes, and they kind of sold the generation on a hobby as a career. Do you think that universities and colleges should put what percentage of people actually find success in the career they got their education in, right?
I
Like if
think
those
I
percentages were
think
visible and
they
public,
they
do you?
they do. Those studies are out there, and it's drastically on the bad side that upwards of 60%, 70% of people are not getting jobs in their area of degree.
Right. And
Um,
then all the other fields just look at them and like, well, you have a degree, so you're hired over here too.
Yeah,
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, I'm not bashing college. You need
no,
it for certain stuff. Trade college, the trades schools are starting to revive. I mean, I'm old enough to remember shop class and loved it. Like, I remember building a lamp out of wood and plastic and running the electrical and a full lamp from scratch, routering out the base, and like it's a memory of mine when I took it home to show my old man that I built this thing in shop class. Like that, I don't know if it's coming back from a um, middle school and high school level like it
I
used to
think
be.
it's more
But it,
STEM now than anything because
yeah,
STEM involves the whole science and math aspect and doing things like that. So kids these days are starting to learn how to design in CAD
yeah,
and things like that in like fifth grade, fourth grade.
yeah,
yeah.
dude.
And
My son
then
runs circles around
also
me on that
learning
stuff.
to finish that thing out, right? So Kendall says trades are by far the best way to go, but this younger generation wants $1 million an hour for no knowledge to start out. That's what's frustrating. I agree with
Uh,
you. I think part of that is, in my opinion, one of our newer clients made a comment to me that um, kind of addresses this, Kindle. And what the gentleman said was when he has some of his subcontractors that are like, well, I'll use you two as an example. Jose comes in and is like, well, you're paying Daniel more by foot and blah blah blah, and his only response is, well, Daniel takes care of my jobs, and he is a huge proponent of the VTI because he's like, well, Daniel is an expert and you are a intermediate. Get to expert and you'll make expert money. When that dynamic happens, we will. It's happening. It makes me smile because I've been working on this kind of thing for 5 years, 6 years now, 7 years actually, and that dynamic where the companies, the homeowners, the like the people, the stakeholders in projects, no matter where you're at, residential, commercial, whatever, they're starting to realize that like it's a great way to encourage your current body of installers to go get better trained. I mean, I pay different subs, different costs based. I get to base it on their ability to do work, and I have the metrics behind it. That's what the VTI is bringing. Um, it's Go Carrera as you know it in the past, but we're pulling that out, and the VTI is just your profile. So when you can, whether or not you run your work orders over trade tap or not, your crews having a VTI will allow you to properly pay them and properly incentivize them to go get that training that they obviously need. So he
And this
loved that
is
idea. So when somebody has a lower uh, rating on the VTI and just a quick deal, it goes rookie, intermediate, experienced, proficient, expert, master, artisan, elite artisan. That's the levels. When you are awarding work or giving work to certain crews or paying more for certain crews because of their status on the verified trade index, that is in that is then cementing the need for properly trained industry standard training, and that made a big impact on me, and it kind of talks about what you're talking about there, Kendall. if a guy comes in and is like, "Hey, dude, you're a rookie. You get rookie pay," but guess what? You have nothing but up from here, pal. Here's and Kendall, I would encourage crew leads, big guys that are in the industry to help them get plugged into different trainings, help them go to product demos, help them go to full on workshops. If you're in the tile world, if you're in the carpet or resilient world, getting involved with NAFCT and CFI and plugging them into trainings, and then getting that result from their training back to you where they can start to apply that new knowledge with your guidance as a high quality installer. That's where we can start to make big waves in the industry, big waves in skilled trades, period, but
Period. Yeah.
specifically in flooring.
Yeah, and like I think it's got to start with everyone that's in here, right? We have to be humble enough to know that we don't know everything, and to be like, okay, I've been doing this for 20 years. Even if I go do this training, what am I going to learn? What can I change about everything I do right now that's going to make me even better the next time I go and strap my knee pads on a job site?
Yeah, and do you think we've talked about this before, but that you know that you've been good and not certified, and you've been certified in training and attended trainings and gotten certified and gotten different certificates of completion and done different training. Every time I've done that, even when I felt like I was good, uh, I did have to put my ego down. And when I did that, man, there's so many little nuggets that made me more money, dudes. I'm telling you, like
Eh,
you pick up, it doesn't take the whole course. It takes one little thing to impact your financial standing for the next year in a major way.
you
Right.
just said that too.
Did
Is
you
the
experience
nugget?
that,
Um,
YouTube?
yeah. Well, you just said the nugget, right? When you set your ego aside, you actually open up the door to absorb more information. Because if you're like, oh, I already know that, you're not really paying attention. You're not invested. But if you're like, I really want to learn something. Let me invest myself into this, and you're open minded and you're learning and you're sharing information you have. They share what they have. You learn so much more. You improve your own techniques.
Yeah, and Jimmy says every certification he's taken, he's learned something. Always be learning, and that's where I used to use the hashtag never stop learning, and that's how you got to be, and that's how when even I'm the instructor, that's part of my introduction, right? I tell you where I'm from, tell you what we're gonna do, and then before we go out into the warehouse and start cutting some stuff up, I'm like, listen, I'm not here just to teach you guys. If you see me doing something and you know a better way, you let me know. That way I can change what I'm doing. And I'm upfront with them right away. And sometimes, not this last class, but the class before, they taught me something that I still use when I'm out there heat welding these verticals on the flash coves. Like I never would have thought of it. It's something super simple. And now I use it every single time.
I I am so glad you brought that up because that one thing that you have to realize if you are in that mindset, like, what am I going to learn? Maybe you can go help someone else learn something at one of the courses. As I've been involved many a times in a training course where somebody in the one of the students brought up a technique like you just talked about, Daniel, that helped everybody out, and the instructors, most good instructors, are like, hey, that works, that's great, and help to reinforce that new knowledge. But you just might bring something to the table that can help someone else. So you're there to learn, and I promise you, if you get involved, you will pick up new new stuff. You will
Yeah.
learn some new stuff.
Jeremy says the more you know, the more you can make. Learning a little more than you know now could save you hours on the job. The faster a job gets done, the quicker you get paid. It's a win win.
Yeah. Yeah, efficiency is absolutely high quality and then efficiency. And I urge
Hmm.
everybody, make sure your quality is in line first. I made the mistake. I was really fast and was doing pretty shitty work early on. Um, Looking back on, I thought I was doing great, and that's a lot of you. Like you think you're doing great, you just don't know how ungreat you're doing yet.
Yeah, and
Uh,
that's the thing when you get on some of these projects with some of these GCs, right? And they don't know you. And say you're on a job and there's multiple crews going, right? And you guys are doing the same thing in a different area. And I've seen it, and it's like, well, they're over here, and they're like 3 rooms ahead of you guys right now. And it's like you just have to trust the process, and that's what I tell them. You just trust the process, and
Yeah.
then we prep, and then boom, it's installed in one day, and then
mhm.
prep, and then boom, it's installed in one day, and then them being ahead 3 4 rooms, and now we're ahead 10, and that's the kind of thing that you have to learn is that a lot of it is in that prep work and knowing how to efficiently run things.
Prep,
Yeah, it's in that
staging,
process,
yeah, the
right?
sequential order, the process, yeah, like everything all goes together. And I used to hate that part of it is organizing and always feeling like I'm staging things and staging and staging and staging. But then once you're done staging, you fall back and everything starts clicking. The crew starts working together really good. It's like a machine. Boom, 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 boom. Done.
Yeah, there's only a few people that where you can go on a project, and you don't have to say nothing to nobody. You just walk in, even if it's already going, and then you just start doing something. And then that person sees you doing this, they were like, "Oh, I was about to do that next, but now I'm gonna go do this something else." And then it's like it's crazy when that happens, but you have to have that mindset. And I think that's where when Kendall was talking about the kids these days want so much more to start out. I want people to realize that we deserve more to start out, right? We can't keep on saying these kids just want more. We need to say they do deserve more, and everyone in the industry deserves more, and we have to start upscaling our our talents in
Well,
order to get there.
this goes all the way back to I don't remember what podcast it was, but I've referred back to it. I think it was a one of our blue collar cruises where 70, you guys might remember, 70-ish plus percent of people will pay more
Yes.
for a tradesman in any category if they know that they are better than the others.
Yep.
Without the VTI, which is a rating, a standardized rating system, they don't have a way to do that. Now they do. The point is with all this coming down the pipe, you need to make sure that you are bidding your work to make money. And based on your stature in the VTI, you can demand more. People will pay more. Then you're able to what? Pay that kid more. Our industry has to grow a little bit. We have to grow, and the top has to grow, meaning the high quality installers need to grow their revenues so that they can pay a little bit more. That's going to help everybody in the equation. And like you said, Daniel, they do deserve more. I mean, you can't start somebody out at less than what an Amazon is going to start them out at to move a box from here to there, which I mean, there's Amazon just laid off 40,000 of those people because it's because of what we were talking about earlier. So that is why, um, the Bible says, work with these. They can't take that away from you. Many a smart man has said that, right? Work with your hands. If you
So,
got a skilled trade, you have something that cannot be just replaced like that, especially if you're a high level skilled tradesman.
so I got a theory here, and tear this apart, guys. So, in order for us to pass on our trade, we need younger generations. We need to be able to pay them more. Does that mean that training and education is should get on a faster track instead of requiring a prerequisite of years and experience? Maybe speed up the training process so they can fail faster to learn more quicker. I, I know that sounds kind of weird, and I'm trying to make sense of it too, but should all of the trainings be a fast track so that way someone can get out of career a little bit quicker, ask for more money, have credentials that say that they're valued at more, but then in order to maintain it, they have to perform?
Well, we just don't, you know, before the VTI, we just don't have a credentialing mechanism. Okay, so there are kids getting trained, but they're not getting hired by the flooring industry as quick as we need. Like, one of the catastrophes that I think happen is that some of the organizations that are doing some really good work to get some kids trained, but then they're not getting hired. A lot of maybe, and I'm not saying this is a fact with Kendall's comment, but it's if you're hiring off of Facebook or Craigslist and the kid was a worked at Chick-fil-A and then now he wants to come work for you and he wants 18 or 25 or whatever dollars an hour, that part has to be, you know, there is a job board for the flooring trade called Jumpstart. If we will just go to Jumpstart and hire these new kids coming out, that would help. Um, that is like we just have to start utilizing some of the pieces of the puzzle that has been you guys have been a big part of it. Other industry leaders have been a big part of it in what we're doing to try. And I say this is an industry wide effort to adopt and fix some of these things. We need to have a good way to place the new kids. But I think we tried I certainly did hire somebody, show them something one time, they go and fail, but they've messed your job up. Like those
Oh yeah,
failures are hard to swallow. It it's like really hard to
yeah. I'm
swallow.
definitely not talking like big failure. You know, the small items. I know it's hard to say it like that, but the
It's like go cut this corner of base real quick, and then you mess up a corner on a 4 foot piece of base. Not like a catastrophic job where
you
Or
mess up the
um,
or
we
cement
even
we
getting
floor.
can we can talk about
yeah,
those
you cut
catastrophic
through on an
failures
outside
too, though.
corner on a 4 foot section. That's one
Yeah,
thing.
just
You
grab
cut
another piece.
Yeah, yeah. I'm saying let them dive in and get their, cut their knuckle, cut their finger, mess something up like that. Instead of saying, push the broom, I'll show you this, go pick this up.
I still
And
stand beside like train, apply, train, apply, train, apply. And if you can track the train and then the apply, then you can train the right next thing. That's really that's really like how most people learn most effectively. I mean, think of a kid learning to walk even, right? They stand up, they don't learn to walk until they fall. Just to your point, Jose, right? But they get up, they take a step, take a dump, get back up, take a step, but they're learning and they're applying. They're learning and they're applying.
Yeah, Jeremy says he was the quicker messer
Quicker
upper for
messer
a
upper.
while. And that's the thing, right? And I started laughing because I think of it, and like when I'm doing something and I technically don't know how to do it, I guess, but then I always say to myself, "Oh, don't do that."
yeah, yeah. I have the tendency to call myself stupid. I'm doing, oh, don't do it like that, stupid. You knew you were about to mess that one up. What are you doing?
I'm going to use that. That's the first time I've heard that, the quicker messer upper.
Oh yeah,
I
Jeremy with
there
the
was many times
Tasmanian
where
devil.
I just looked at Jeremy and I was like, "Jeremy, what are you doing?" I don't know.
We actually had a guy tell us that who actually became a really good installer at one point. It's like, dude, what are you doing? He goes, I don't know.
Well, Denise made a comment earlier that we have to get retailers and manufacturers on
And
board.
that was our conversation with Scott. Was that last week?
It was
Yeah.
last week.
Yeah, when he was saying that, and that's his vision, is getting everyone on board, and it's just a matter of how do you go about that.
Well, I'll tell you how we are going about it. And as a, like, why have manufacturers not said you got to be certified to this level? And we've had this conversation before, right? You got to be certified. Well, what does that mean? In carpet, is an R1 certification fine from CFI, or is another? you know, certificate, like in tile in particular, you can get an online certification. So is that good enough? Like they don't know how to put there's been no metric for them to aim at. Manufacturers are responding well to the verified trade index that they have a spot that they can say you need to be this level to be able to do it. They don't care where you got your training from. It's they also can't jump in bed with one training entity and then
Yes.
abandon all the other training entities. And that's also a problem, right? We've been us three have been in that room when they were having those conversations, and one or a union organization is like, well, you need to make sure they're this, and someone else with another organization, I will not mention names, but they stand up and say, well, it needs to be our certification, and someone else was like, why is yours? What about? No wonder the manufacturer's like, F that. I didn't want nothing to do with that argument.
right?
But if there's a third party organization that they can point to, they have responded very well to that.
And that's
Here,
where we get the VTI from, right?
yep.
Kendall says his question is, it's a hands-on trade, so you can't do it out of a book or. I mean, you could do it out of a training school, but every project is going to be different, and that's what you have to teach that going in, right? But everyone
Well,
has their own way of doing things. Where do you go from there? And I think that's where people need to realize that there are standards out there on a lot of things that people still don't know, right? The CRI 104 and 105 for carpet. One's
mhm.
residential, one is commercial. So unless you know that there's standards out there, you are going to keep on doing things the way that you've always done it until you realize that, oh, there's a standard out here. Let me take a look at this and see what it says. And then you realize, oh, I was supposed to be stretching this much, and the tack strip's supposed to be this far away from the wall, and it's
Any
it's
number of things. But what it does do is go back to what you said. I agree with Kendall. You can't learn it from a book and a training one time. But
No.
if you do what you suggested earlier, Daniel, which was continued education, continuing the training, then you get in that thing that I was talking about, which is learn, apply, learn, apply, learn, apply. So that repetition is what gets you there and allows you to fail forward and not just fail. The problem that I saw when I first got in the industry, and I was sad to say part of it was I failed, but I didn't know why I failed. It just failed. I failed, and I did because I had no real knowledge to land on.
well,
I just it just failed. I don't
that,
know,
and we didn't
and I didn't
have
know
a
what to
computer in our
fix.
pockets when we started. We
That's
couldn't look
right.
up the specs of everything.
Yeah,
Dude.
or watch a YouTube video, or even I'm gonna date myself here. I've been on jobs. I'm old enough that I didn't have a phone. Like you still used a payphone.
Dude, we were talking about that the other day at the office. I had a
So
beeper.
Yeah, a beeper or a payphone.
Jose says that Shaw has a new wool carpet that you need. It says that you need to be a certified installer for a warranty, and I can see that. Um, but the thing is that they will still sell it to someone who is not certified.
Yeah. So here's the dichotomy of that. Just to kind of break that down, Jose. The problem with that is the warranty is for the end user. The manufacturer, the thing that hurts them the most when there's a failure is their reputation. Like whether it's an install failure or an actual product failure, it's a dink on them, and they know that the consumer has this propensity to like, oh, last time I bought Shaw, or and I'm only using Shaw because that's what was used. Not Shaw's awesome, but just as an example, I've got to make that claimer there. Uh, but the last time I bought XYZ manufacturer, it failed, or I had a problem. they don't attest it to anything. So manufacturers are scared to pull a warranty away from the end user because a certified person didn't install it. It puts a really bad taste. Now they will. I'm just saying it's one of those points of contention. The store may end up having to foot the bill if an installer um, does the job that's not certified and it fails. I mean, like a lot of the products that we use in commercial, you have to be certified to install it. That's what they tell you. And then you hear about the guy down the street that won a job that has 10,000 foot of that product, and they're not certified. So the the bottom line is the manufacturers want to sell product, and they're going to
So
sell the.
we have on Instagram, Nate says poorly installed floors are replaced more frequently. Poorly installed floors are more affordable. Poorly installed flooring is cheaper. Installers are a perfect scapegoat.
Repeat customer, right? Like it's job security for the manufacturer
Is
as
that what
well.
he's saying essentially?
Yeah, and I mean that's just one person's opinion on it, right? Like it makes sense to a certain extent, but I do talk to manufacturers, and I have seen people that have been trained that will still install it wrong because why am I going to do it the way I learned over here when I can do it faster this way?
Well, I think I made a comment to someone in the past, and I didn't always say it the nicest way. Is you don't want to hire certified installers because then the manufacturer gets to sell that job twice. Um,
Yeah, I
sucks to
think
say
they
it like
hit
that.
on their reputation. Like as an industry, that could bode true, but they hit on a reputation. There's just too many options. I don't know that I can get. I guess there's probably like anything a small element of truth to that, but when when I've talked to manufacturers, they don't want failures because they don't want whoever the end user or whoever the architect or whoever the GC that doesn't know the technical side of stuff, they don't want them to have a bad view of their product line. And I mean, you're talking millions of dollars of product that can be lost in a sale because they had one failure on this other project. You know what I
Hospitals,
mean? Like
perfect example.
even in what'd you say?
Hospitals are the perfect
Oh yeah,
example of that.
yeah. Let a hospital have a major failure with a given flooring product. That's getting replaced in that hospital. They're
Yeah.
not going to use it again.
Denise says manufacturers could just suggest or recommend qualified, and they already do that in their documents. But the hardest thing to do is what is considered qualified, right? And
Yeah,
that's again, we'll always go back to this VTI because this is why it's been created.
yeah. The you have to define qualified, and if you can't define qualified, then you lose the opportunity to demand it. It falls on deaf ears, or it falls as one of those things like, oh, that's just stupid. You know, it loses its mustard because the word qualified ends up being more of a subjective word. Like it's like I think I'm qualified, or my store says I'm qualified, or you got to have something that backs that up, and that is again, like Daniel just said, that is the purpose of the VTI.
Right.
Again, I want to state very clearly, the VTI costs you nothing for life. So
Yeah,
there's absolutely after the first year when that's launched, uh, there is no reason. It costs nothing for life. The only cost to the VTI is if you choose to go from a standard profile that you have the badge, you got a nice looking profile, and you really want to it up and have a full website. That's it. It's the that is the only time you would pay is if you wanted to transform your profile into a full website. Other than that, you get the VTI 100% free. You'll have a card with a QR code that you can show your customer. They can QR, look at your profile, and you can sell your quality. Um, and the people who are just getting started, they're able to say, I see a clear path to increasing their position on the index and a clear path on how to improve. And then, like you said earlier, Daniel, it, I don't know if it was you or Jose, but um, the when you start to understand the standards, which are hard to learn without going through some level of training, but when you start to understand the standards, that's when you start to find where you failed. That's what I was talking about a few ago. Is there's so many people that were like me. I would mess something up and I would have no idea how to fix it because I didn't know why it failed in the first place. I was taught to do this. Particularly, I remember doing. I was trained on double cutting
Everything.
carpet at the first, right? Um, I double cut a ton. Well, I got put on a job. That's all I knew. I double cut it. It mushroomed out. It looked like fart, dude, like a big fart. It was horrible. I was like, I did everything right. I didn't do
Yeah.
any of
And
it right.
you only know what you know, right? And we've been on projects too where, I mean, earlier on we were still that crew that was like, well, I'm not going to double cut this because I know this stuff will follow a row. It doesn't
Oh,
matter
dude.
how hard it is. And then we're working at the same time as another crew doing different stores, and then they're getting calls about the other one. They're like, well, first it was, why are they getting done so much faster than you? And then it was, oh, why are we getting so many calls about issues on these stores but not the ones that you did?
Yeah, they want us to come over there and throw people under the bus. I'm like, hey, I can't do that. I don't. We don't know
Well,
under what circumstances.
I learned later through training that there's a method of approaching a seam, right? Especially in commercial. If you can row both and butt, there's going to be some sways, but if it's intolerance, you can pull those together. And if that doesn't work, then move to row and trace. And also, I learned to test, try.
Oh yeah.
That helped me out a lot when I got into the sheet vinyl world, and I started to really believe in knowing the industry, like knowing and being trained. I I would spend I several hours sometimes working to get my gun and weld rod and seaming correct before I'd ever touch a job to go in and actually heat weld it. I still do that. You will not catch me go start welding on a job, even if I know the product. I am going to test it. The site
Oh, it's different
condition,
in every
all of
job.
the stuff comes into play when you're doing this. How cold is the concrete? That can affect your welding. What kind of, how old is your welder? If the last time you welded it was a year ago, your heating element is going to act different. It's not going to be the exact same. I always test it. And I learned it from the carpet failures after I started to actually care about the industry. And that's just where I want to get people is from what I was to what I be started to become faster than what I did because I just messed so much stuff up and it was incredibly frustrating and damaging to my confidence in this industry because I I messed stuff up and I couldn't even tell you why it failed. And I'd always blame somebody else because I thought that I did it right.
Right. So Jose says, when is it going to be available?
First of the year, the VTI launches. As you guys may or may not know, the profiles within the application um, is in the in Go Carrera currently. It's in the marketplace. We are pulling that out, so that's when all the profiles will be separate from the marketplace. So you won't have installers have to choose to go to the marketplace to do work. They're not automatically. Their profiles are not automatically in the marketplace. So um, think of it like you build your skill and everything. It's your choice whether you go market yourself. It's your choice whether you go give your your business card to somebody. Like, so that's how it will be more so, and that's right after the year. I know,
That is for
Jeremy.
sure.
I did plenty of the latter.
Same.
Embarrassingly to say, I mean, I did. I messed some stuff up, guys, and I'm not, particularly uh, disappointed in it. All from the, it doesn't bother me other than like I do see it bothers me if I can't get the word across to other tradesmen that like we learn and then you that testing part, trying
Right.
things out without just doing it on your job because that's how you were shown
Some
one time.
someone asked me a few weeks ago, they were like, "How'd you guys get so good?" And I said, "No one's seen the hours that me and this dude were in a garage with some underlayment and some sports floor vinyls or here in the warehouse where it's like, you guys might end up using this material. So send me some material, give me some weld, let me mess around with this while I'm here because as soon as we hit the job site, I want to know exactly what I'm getting into."
Yeah.
Yeah, and you had said something too about practicing, Paul. Your body's a tool. You got to recalibrate that thing too. Like if I go on a project right now and try to weld like I used to, chances are I'm gonna drop dead in about 4 hours. But you gotta get your feet wet all over again. Every project's different. Concrete, wood, Michigan to Florida, the weather's different.
Well, and if you approach your trade like we've been talking, where you're always learning, if you'll just approach it that way, even when once you have your basis of knowledge, when you go out to a job, then you can fail yourself forward. You make a little mistake and you can correct it. Um, Man, I love you guys, and I love the way that your journey through this because it's just such a important thing for people to know and understand that it's like that overnight success. Oh, they didn't see the 10 years you put into becoming good.
And I'll say that what like when people say must be nice, it's absolutely nice, right? Because they didn't see at one point me crying on the a chair at the house because my credit was so bad I couldn't afford anything.
Yeah,
So to
it
to
is not. It's
to
also
build from that.
it's even sweeter when um, you built it right when you built yourself up, and everybody who is in our industry has the opportunity to do that, right? Whether it's the actual trainings, or we've talked in past about leadership trainings. One of the best things I ended up doing was I started taking leadership courses and reading books and doing all this stuff when I was a young man. I started the Stewart and Associates. It was called Stewart and Gosling then, and I had a partner, and I started that in '99. I was 22 years old when I started that company. I bought him out in '03. Reading those leadership books is, and I was installing at the time. That's what made me realize, like, changing my mindset on things. So don't forget the soft side of the industry of any trade is learning to be a leader, understanding organization. The 7 habits of an effective leader, books like this, they Scott Humphreys has a
Yes.
leadership by the letter. Like, these things will help you think through problems on job sites differently, and help you technically, even because you're approaching the problems from a different mindset, from the leadership mindset, from the personal accountability mindset, and you get better because of that approach. Thank you, Denise. That is so
Yeah,
sweet.
thank you.
Appreciate you so much.
Yeah, I think like overall this topic was kind of we touched on a lot of it, but the biggest thing that I'm looking at is that the future of labor is actually more technology focused than anyone realizes right now.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. A lot of that stuff the way we used to do things to get to the part of installation is changing. And I guess my rally cry would be like people are going to start verifying. This happened in business. It's just been slow to get to the trades. What do people do when they are shopping you as a business? Well, they look at your website. They know everything about you before they walk through your door most times, right? They've looked at your Facebook page, they've looked at your website, they've looked at any reviews you have. Like they're verifying you before they ever come to buy from you. That was a big learning curve for the retail world that they had to change a lot of stuff during that time. That is happening to the trades. Like they want, and you're going to make more money if you are verified, if you are able to prove that you're worth more money. Um, don't continue to just do the same thing and expect different results. This podcast exists to help give you new ideas, to help spur new thoughts. We're not geniuses or know everything. We just know a little bit about what our experience, a lot of bit about what our experience was, and we try to share that with you so that you can make different decisions. Like you don't have to lose,
Yeah.
almost go bankrupt with your company like I did because of bad installation, because you refuse to invest in your people or invest in yourself. You don't have to do that. Learn from us. Like please don't do the same
The,
thing that
the
we the mistakes we've made.
think about the amount of times that you had to fail in order to find that one success. Just think about that. Like, think about that. Like, holy smokes, that's a. I'm 45 years old now. Oh, where'd time go?
Yeah.
I've messed
Well,
up
and
more than I've found any success, and I'm going to continue to find failure because failure leads to success, and more
as long as you're
consistent
failing
success.
as long as you're failing in the way you're failing now, don't fail like I was talking about, where you fail and you blame everybody else and you don't have any knowledge to fall back on to get better in the first place. I was stuck in that loop. I mean, I guess I'm not that proud of it. It just is what it is. The fact is that if you don't have any knowledge to say, you know what, if I'd have done this a different way, I'd have a different result. And I think I know the right way now. That's a good failure. That's where you just paid to learn is what you did, whatever it was.
Yeah. And
But
I think that people have to realize that we say forward progress for a reason, right? That's our tagline. It's because in football, forward progress is if you get pushed back, they're still going to count you down where that ball was, right? You're going to get
yep.
pushed back at some point, but it's getting back up and then keep on pushing forward. And that's what we all have to do. And once, bring them younger kids in and we're like full circle moment kind of talking about what's going on with the labor is we have to bring those younger kids in and show them that it is going to be lucrative and we all do have to raise our prices. And I think that technology is going to help us in that because it's going to let everyone know, inside and outside of the flooring industry, that prices need to go up in order for you to get the installation that you want.
Well, and you're exactly right. And as our industry might get, any skilled trades industry might get a little flooded with the machinist who his job got automated, and he installed tile in his bathroom one time 6 years ago, and so he goes and tosses a Jim's tile sticker on his van or on his truck and starts competing against you, and you without ver- being able to prove yourself, you're competing on semantics, what you say versus what he says. If he's better at selling himself and you lose a job because of that, that's what is like what we're trying to prevent. We're trying to elevate our trade. I wanted to Nate says it's the fool who learns from his own mistakes, the wise man learns from the mistake of others. I had that presented to me in a little different manner. And it was like a smart guy will learn from his own mistakes, but a wise man learns from others.
Yeah,
And
same.
a fool just doesn't learn.
Yep.
And or was like I was early on, has no basis to even learn from. So I do think that not Jimmy, just Jim. Sorry. Oh, that's funny,
Well,
Jimmy.
you know what your boy Mr. T used to say about the fool.
Pity the
Yeah,
fool.
pity the
Pity
fool.
the fool.
All right, guys. Well, we've closed out a good solid hour. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today. It was awesome conversation. I think from a high level, what Daniel was saying is bring in the young guys, command more money based on your skill and ability, be a pro, and pay your guys more, pay yourself, get paid more yourself, and it's a
And
win-win.
and
And
start using technology, man, especially when it's like low or
Yeah.
no cost. We all have to like every industry is data driven. Without people giving that data, we're not going to move ahead.
that's why
Without you
this
signing up for all this stuff, we are not going to move ahead.
knowledge is power, even more so today than it ever has been, because the knowledge is so easy to access. So you really, yeah, I second that thought. What's your final thoughts there, Mr. Jose?
It's time to hold ourselves accountable for our successes and our failures. That's really what it amounts to. You want to you want to solidify your role in a career in the flooring industry or any trade industry. Educate yourself. Find a way. Create a means. Create a name. Learn how to be your own. Um, what's the word? Learn how to market yourself on your own, and then people will
When
market
you're,
for you.
I
Um,
I want to
go ahead.
add to that
Yeah.
just a quick one. Like, quit letting the fear of what Daniel said and what you were alluding to, quit letting the fear of technology run you, or the fear of change. We can't just keep bitching about the industry without changing something, starting here. Um, and I think, you know, continue on, Jose, but that was just something that popped in my head right when you said
Yeah,
that.
no problem. If you're going to hand something over to your child or teach your kid something, you want to have all the information that you possibly can to give them the best chance of success. Do it for yourself first.
Amen.
That's it.
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much. What a great conversation today was. That was awesome. See if we can get the
It's
explosion.
not going to do it.
Bye now.
Thank you to everybody who commented. Thanks for all the people that came on live. We truly appreciate you guys. When we see those numbers rise during a podcast, it
Yeah.
invigorates us. So keep up the good work.
Thanks,
Appreciate
Jimmy, for the
it.
opening question.
Yeah, thanks, Jimmy. Thanks, Denise. And our prayers are with you as always. Do not forget to like and subscribe our stuff. Get on
Share
YouTube,
it with
follow our
everyone.
channel,
Yeah.
share it. That's what keeps us growing and allows us to get your information, your concerns, your topics, and get it out to a wider audience.
Yeah.
We're
And if you don't
making
like it, share it with all your friends and tell them what you think about us. Share it with all two of them.
yeah, and the industry's taken notice of the huddle. They have been, and I think our guests are great. But you know, we are your voice, and we want to continue. So if you want to come on and have your voice heard, send us an email and let us know you want to be a guest and what topic interests you the most, and we'll have you on as a guest. Let's do it this year as we're coming on the close of 25. We want to have even a better podcast for 2026. And, you know, the huddle is going to be live with the Wi-Fi being women in flooring industry at Tice. So come and join us. If you don't join us live in person, join us on our social channels and join us on a great conversation with the ladies from Wi-Fi. And that is January what?
2026.
Yeah, something like that. So look it up, Tice 2026 in Vegas. If you can be there, be there. If not, join us for that live event. And we will continue to remind you about that. And until then, we'll see you guys next week.
All right. Thanks, guys.
All right,
Thank you,
thanks, guys.
everyone.